When we begin to consider the background and context for our data analysis, it becomes relevant some of the variables that we need to consider. Specifically, we collected the information from Kaggle while looking at the industry of alcoholic beverages. As you can see, we've included the Kaggle dataset over there. We analyzed the variables, and they were included for each country. So the dependent and independent variables listed below are a representation for which each country's quantitative values are. Now, the dependent variable that we analyzed was alcohol consumption, specifically the liters of alcohol consumed per capita, whereas the independent variables were the urban rate, income per capita, employment rate, and suicide per 100 people. Now, going into a little bit of depth here, the urban rate explores the percentage of people that live in urban areas, thereby measuring the urban sprawl of a country. We wanted to see if there was a relationship between these two variables, because culture ties strongly to alcohol consumption, and the cultures associated with urban lifestyles can greatly vary from suburban or rural. In regards to income per capita, we realized that the average income based per person varies with the average amount of disposable income. And we were curious if this disposable income had an effect on the income factors that predisposed individuals to purchase more alcohol. In regards to employment rate, or the percent of people that are employed in each specific country, we wanted to consider how this, similar to income per capita, was important for explaining if employment made a difference in an individual's propensity to purchase alcohol. With suicide rate per 100 people, we recognized the dangers of alcohol. Our team wanted to explore whether alcohol consumption was higher in countries with higher rates of suicide. This variable is an important factor when considering the ethics of marketing alcohol to countries with higher rates of suicide, especially in this day and age where corporate social responsibility are critical factors to consider. In the results section later on, we will be able to see the summary statistics corresponding to these variables, along with some interesting observations and scatterplot relationships. In regards to the research model, we specifically ran single linear regression tests. Now, we ran this between alcohol consumption and urban rate, suicide rate, unemployment rate, and income per capita. Now, the reason why we decided to focus on single linear regression is because we wanted to visualize a single factor's impact. And by only focusing on a single factor's significance, we can really eliminate the confounding relationships that may result by factors continually working together in a multi-relationship model. However, this is primarily used as a preliminary form of data exploration, and later on in future studies we hope to see the impact that these relationships have with one another. Now, as for the data cleaning process, we started by reading the CSV file dataset using pandas, and we created 4 different types of data frames as listed below. We then identified the independent, dependent, and dummy variables. We then went on to remove the empty and null values that were listed, and finally we went on to create those linear regression summaries and save those data frames into a CSV file for further analysis. So let's dive right into the results.